So hello, this is Lewis with PropertyManagementResearch.org. I have Andy Wallace. He's the CEO of Z-Inspector. He also took the lead on the technical development of the software after testing it out myself and really giving it a good A to Z at the Property Management Conference this past October. We're proud to say that we're going to go ahead and recommend the product, and we have Andy with us today, who's going to share some information on the product. Tell us a little bit first about your background, please, Andy.
Great talking to you today, Lou, and I definitely enjoyed meeting you at that conference. And I think we shared a lot in common. And that I started a property management company as well, and we were managing a few hundred properties, and that's really what kind of started Z-Inspector. It was out of necessity. But prior to property management, it was also something else I almost fell into by accident, which I think it's something that many people in the real estate and in property management industries do, where you kind of take experience from outside and you bring it into that industry. And I was a engineering manager, managed 40 employees. I have an MBA, actually taught computer programming at UC Davis. So I have this kind of more general, broad technical management experience, but end up falling into real estate. Started being an investor, invested in a few homes. My wife's a real estate agent. And from that, over time, we started basically in property management. And we've been doing that as a service to others for almost 10 years now.
So let me get this right. So you've got a property management business now, and you started out with this technical background. Now you have a property management business, been involved in that for 10 years in this field, and you utilized your technical background to essentially fill some voids that you were noticing in your day-to-day property management operations with respect to inspections. And,
that's exactly right.
Okay.
It really kind of started, there was one kind of key moment that really kicked it off. And that is we had a security deposit dispute, and we were getting all of our information together for court. And there was a few photos that we knew we had, but they weren't on our server, which they were supposed to be. And then one of our agents recalled that they didn't pull them off the memory card from their camera. And fortunately for that case, they were still on the memory card, and we got them off, and we did what we needed to do. But it was at that point, it was like, I never want that to happen again. We need all of our information there. But it was something kind of much more than that, in that we're using now photos for something. I would say the security deposit is really kind of maybe the negative or the legal protection side of things. There's this whole other side of really kind of positive interactions, where if you're getting information on a continual basis from different users in your company, you're generating a whole other flow of how things are happening at the office, how you're communicating to the owners, what's happening in the field. So it's really not just about security deposits, inspections, but really enabling communication.
All right. So if let's just say, talk to me like I'm not a tech-savvy property management owner. Let's just say, for whatever reason, I've been doing it the old school way, like we all used to when we started out, with the notepad, pen, and digital camera, so to speak. So not the most efficient thing in the world. Certainly have lost pictures. You have the need to have return trips sometimes to better clarify notes, and perhaps a bedroom was missed in an inspection report. There's always something when my units were being inspected. So to kind of keep it as straightforward as possible, speaking to that non-tech savvy owner, what does this software do? It's something that you go onto the App Store and you download right to your iPhone, right?
Absolutely. An iPhone or Android, right? And that was important too. Is that when we developed this, we wanted people to be able to use equipment they already had. So they didn't have to go buy an iPad or whatever. And it was important so that they could use it on your phone. So you just always had it available, because you're not always at a property because it's planned. You just want it in your pocket or your purse, and you've got it. So that was key.
So I'm at a oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then the next part of it is, you needed equipment that's available. And we wanted to come up with a process that, while it's on a small screen, it's pretty familiar. So when you're doing an inspection, the look and feel is very traditional in terms of a common move in, move out inspection report.
Yeah, and I saw that when I used it. It looked like something that we would print out or have a template at the office that we would fill out to generate a final report to make it look all nice. Yeah, so in using your software, it was pretty easy to download to my phone. And I actually just did a sample inspection of my current house that I live at. And the app opens very easily, and you kind of go through the rooms. It helps you pick out the room. You go on the room, you can select if it's, if a repair is needed, if there's damage.
Yep.
Quickly snap off a photo, go to the next room, touch these icons, good condition, clean, dirty, needs this, needs that, whatever. So you walk through the home, you're done. Once you walk into the Wi-Fi, how does it work? How does taking those pictures, telling the app what's wrong or what's good about the property, you finish your 15-20 minute walkthrough inspection, what then happens with that information?
Yeah, and you touched on a real key point there, in that when we developed the application, we really want to develop it alongside of what's happening on the web server. So what I mean by that is, on the application, you really can use it, and you're doing a number of things in terms of both creating properties, taking photos, and doing inspection. We'll touch on those. But we wanted the user to be able to do all that without an active internet connection. And the reality is that when you're, doing inspections and you're like maybe, in a basement or in an attic or just in the back of a house, you don't always have good internet, and you certainly don't want it to, wait for it to sync up. So a big part of the technology that we developed is that you're using your phone, you're doing everything that you need to do on your phone, and then that information will sync up with the server later when internet's available. And so it starts with, you need to create a property. And so, like you touched on, is you're going to first create a property. You can do it on the website or on your phone, and you can answer a few simple questions like how many bedrooms or bathrooms.
And then
you can,
once the property's created, it's in there for all time, right? So 2 years from now, if a new employee wants to just go start from scratch, that new employee can just download the app, go in there, put the property address in, it pulls up, so that then all the bedrooms and everything's laid out perfectly, and there's no surprises essentially. The inspection report will look, similar to the previous reports run.
That's exactly right, and basically we say it keeps all your users in sync and all your devices in sync, and like the most common example of that is, if you're in a 3-bedroom house, and the paper forms, they tended to be just labeled, people would say, bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3. But then a year later, when someone was doing a move-out inspection or a maintenance issue, then they weren't calling that the same thing. So you can now put in a description like, the master bedroom or the hallway bedroom or hallway bathroom. And now whenever you're in there doing a photo or a maintenance photo or do an inspection, now that same information is going to have the same reference across all your inspections for all time. And you can change it too. So if you go in and you made a typo and you want to change that, you can always do that too. And then those changes will then resync to all your users.
So it seems like this is a no-brainer from a standpoint of, if you have to do an inspection and your employees have a smartphone, which most of them do,
yeah,
you'd be kind of nuts not to take advantage of having this app on your phone. Everything just seems to be a lot more organized, more straightforward, laid out correctly. And from what I understand, when you get back to the office, the report essentially could be finished, ready to be emailed to the owner.
Correct. And so most people, by default, they have it set up that the report details themselves will upload automatically, but the photos don't get uploaded until you have a Wi-Fi connection. You
Okay,
can
yeah,
change
that's
that.
fine. Yeah.
You can
So when you're
change
back,
that
when you
setting.
return to your office, essentially, you've got Wi-Fi, and boom, once you sit down at your computer, it's already waiting for you, all your reports from your inspections in the day. So it's not like you're going out, you're saying, okay, I can inspect 8 properties, and I've got to be back at the office for 2 hours to write up my reports. No, it's more like now you can inspect 12 or 13 or 14 properties, and all the reports are more professionally laid out and done, waiting for you in your office. So if anybody has even just a handful of rental units, but not to mention somebody that has hundreds, that has to do a move out inspection every time somebody leaves, or I know a large percentage of our viewers, they'll go ahead and inspect it multiple times a year as part of a regimented inspection process, and this is even more beneficial for them. But certainly, I believe that this will free up the more valuable labor, the property managers that you probably would rather have leasing property and bringing in new management accounts than doing mundane report production that's essentially never needed again, thanks to this technology. So,
And I think, and when it's easy to do, you find yourself generating and taking and collecting a lot more information. So what I found is people before, if they knew they had to take those photos off, they might only take a handful of photos or not enough information. But with the right structure, now that's so easy to do, you might take 100 photos. And there might be some where you take 20, or it just depends on the unit.
yeah.
But if you've got a complex property and you need to take 100, 200 photos, you can do that. And you can even, like you mentioned, you might take, let's say you're doing 6, 7 move outs in one day, perhaps on a busy day, you might have 1,000 photos still on your phone, and they'll synchronize up with the server. And so it's designed to have a lot of information and then synchronize all that later.
So no more purchasing digital phones or, digital cameras and dragging notepads, to the property inspection sites. Regular phones work great. Wi-Fi is not an issue.
Right.
Frankly, the little bit of research we did with respect to pricing, actually we did quite thorough research. We have found you to not only have what we think is the most complete product with the best back-end support and the ease of use, which we were really looking for. You also have been blowing the competition out of the water, and in pricing, I haven't been able to find anyone even close to what you guys were able to market this for. And that's I guess a testament to the technological background you have and your ability to create something that didn't try to do too much. So,
and our pricing model is really totally different in that, when you're really getting the app and the inspection part of it for free, essentially, but you're essentially paying for storing all your photos. And so all your photos are stored up on an Amazon cloud server, so they're protected, backed up, redundant, and available to you later. And that's really, we make kind of a small profit on that storage. And so it's really a totally different business model than what I think other people are trying to do out there.
yeah. So even if they do enjoy the product and they like it and they want to use it permanently at their office, I mean, is there a lot of risk up front? I know we spoke to you and we told you that our users definitely enjoy free trials. They like to check stuff out. So what we've done with Andy and Z Inspector is they've been so kind to extend to us a 45-day, I believe, free trial where any of our users or newsletter folks can type in PMMS at their site, and they'll be able to get this exclusive 45-day free trial that no one else has. So because we have such a volume of viewership, we were able to kind of negotiate this, and it's great. So I encourage you to try it. I encourage you to download it. It's quick. You go right to iTunes, type in Z Inspector, you'll see it pop up. You can download it for free. Put in the free code. You got 45 days, and we've had Andy, you were telling me something like plus 95% of the people that sign up and start using it, they're still customers, right? There's not a tremendous turnover at all, right?
Right. I think it's especially since now we have all these new features in place in terms of how they're doing their move out inspections, how they're easy to generate reports. They're just not finding anything else that's even close to it out there. And especially when you're trying to get this information from different people in your office, and then you might need to rerun a report later. So like for instance, we've often found that there might be agents who are doing the inspections, but you might have an office manager who's maybe working with the owner or working with a vendor, right? They can then rerun the reports in their own way. So like, let's say they need to get approval for doing flooring. You might have 100 move out photos, but you easily just pick the couple for flooring and you just rerun your report. And so there's this whole other level that you've got all this information available. You can rerun the reports in different ways. You can rerun them and say, hey, show me the date and time that each photo was taken. You can show even the GPS location that the photo was taken at, right? So there's these other things that just give you a lot of more information in, how you're working with your office, how you're working with your agents, and then how you can communicate to owners. You've got this whole other level. And, for example, in our property management company, whenever we have a leasing agent, go to a home, they always take a picture of the front door. And it's amazing what that does. Is it has documentation from a legal point of view that you were there at the time you said that you were going to be, so you can document that from a tenant's point of view because of a rights to entry perspective, as well as kind of employee management. How they're going from one appointment to another. So you just kind of get all this more information behind it.
Yeah, certainly. Well, to just summarize all the benefits here. The software is easy to download. It's free to try. It's much more expensive than anything else on the market.
Less expensive.
Yeah, it's much less expensive than anything else on the market. The product as well has passed all the rigorous tests. I've tried it. I've tested it. I've worked through questions with the Z Inspector team, and it's always been easy to work with. And I think that as a property management owner, that they'll go ahead and see just the benefits and time savings, more complete reports, more standardized work, and you can even follow the inspection flow of your employees. If you think they're wasting time at a certain inspection point during the day, you can see that. It seems like you've closed circle here, and our users and I certainly appreciate the information. And for more information, you can find it at our site at propertymanagementresearch.org. Thanks, and have a great day.
Thank you, Lou.